My name's Alicia. I'm an Australian compound archer shooting in the UK. I just wanted to introduce myself and talk about what I'm going to be posting on the channel. You're going to see some product reviews and some stuff about my general journey as an archer. I'm in my second to third year of full-time archery now. I started as a field archer in Australia. I didn't shoot there for very long though. I had a series of surgeries on my hand which pulled me out of the sport for almost 10 years. But since moving to the UK, I've been able to shoot much more regularly and it's been really, really fun. The most recent thing that's happened to me is that I've become a member of the Merlin Archery Ambassador team and the RamRods Pro development team. Not the pro team. Definitely not in the pro team. The development team. And I want to share a bit more about the products that those two companies sell, as well as the products that I use every day as I'm shooting, and some of my experiences in general, learning how to tune, learning how to maintain my kit, hoping that will help other archers on their journey. So today we're going to have a product review. How exciting. I got a delivery from Merlin, which is, it's time to open some goodies. So let's go and see what I got. So I didn't get this for Christmas. It just so happens that the Christmas tree is still up because I'm really disorganized. This is the Mybo Heavy Target Bag. I got this in largely because I need somewhere to shoot that isn't outside in the rain, and my club is a fair distance away. Recently I've been suffering with quite a bit of ankle pain, and it's restricting my ability to drive. So I need something that I can shoot inside my house, but something that's also going to be able to take the force of being hit by an arrow out of a compound bow at quite close range. It's not a very big room. And I spoke to a few of my friends and they recommended this bag. It's very, very thick this way. You can see the paper's still covering it up. It's got a really sturdy base down here to sit on, and it is extremely heavy. So I'm going to test it out in a little while, and I'm going to set it up in our back room. The cats are having an absolute field day with the paper. I'm going to be shooting it with my indoor arrows, my Easton Triumphs. So I don't think it's rated for like hunting tips or anything like that, hunting arrows, like broadheads. I believe that those will shred the fabric. What I've heard from my friends is that it's really, really durable, lasts quite a long time, especially if you're using it with target or field points, and that it's really tolerant to quite powerful compound bows. Not that I'm going to be shooting it with, I don't shoot very high poundage, so this should be able to cope quite well if I can get it up where I need to put it, because it's really heavy and I might need to wait for someone to come home and help me. So we're going to go and test it out and we'll see how that goes. Managed to get it up on my shelf here. It's a heavy target bag. It is heavy, so it is actually physically heavy. It's not just heavy duty. So if you're getting one and you're on the lighter side, like if you're a bit more slight, you're probably going to need someone to help you if you're going to lift it up. Otherwise, just leave it on the ground. Doesn't have to be up here. I've just put it up here so the cats can't get to it, and they're going to get to it anyway, and they're probably going to use it as a scratch post because they're horrible. I'll introduce you to the cats in a little while. You're probably going to be seeing them a fair bit on the videos. So they do have a light version of this. This one's designed for compound bows, probably really like if you're shooting quite high powered, like high poundage recurve, this might be better for you. If you're not shooting that high poundage, go for the lighter one. There are a lot of target bags out there. There's cat just here. Yeah. This is Lucius. So there's a lot of target bags out there. There's a couple of reasons why I chose this one. So as I mentioned, I'm a Merlin ambassador, and so I was able to use some of my team credit, my store credit. Actually, I didn't use store credit, I used my discount. So I get a discount for being a team member. And even without the discount, it's very well priced. And the other thing is that it's a local brand. Mybo is a UK brand, Merlin's a UK brand, so it was something that I felt like I wanted to support and buy local. Not actually sure where they're made, but when I ordered it at the time, they weren't in stock. So the light ones were in stock, but the heavies weren't. So I contacted customer service, and I was able to buy one, order one, pre-order one, and as soon as they came into stock, it was shipped to me immediately. There was no worries with the size and the weight of it. The postage was still pretty affordable. But I think that is something that you need to take into account, especially if you're buying a target bag in a bigger country like the US or Australia. Shipping costs are going to be pretty high. So if you can get to a shop yourself and take it home in the car, it's probably better. But not everyone has a car. So postage is important. I can't imagine trying to get one of these home on public transport. I think that would be almost impossible. So the other thing is that I wanted one that could like it seems pretty sturdy, to be honest. Like, it's got quite a wide footprint. It's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. It feels like it's kind of got a built-in edge. You can see it down there. I think if you're hitting here and in the middle, you're probably going to have really good stopping power. If your arrow is coming down into here, it might go through. So if you're setting it up in your house, make sure there's nothing important behind it, like a TV or a window or your children or your neighbors. I have seen these set up outside on frames. I don't know how durable they are out in the weather. That's not something I'm aware of, but I think from reports they're pretty tough. If you're going to leave it out in the rain for 12 months of the year, I would expect it to degrade pretty quickly. So there is also on the other side, so this is just sort of standard feeder target. On the other side, there's a field side, so pick and choose. I would like to, at some point, also put some actual target faces on it, but I haven't tried it with a target pin, but I can have a look at target pin. Yeah, so that's a pretty thick target pin. So you can get a slightly thinner target pin in there. So that's a bit more. I've accidentally brought these home from my club. So it's a little bit, it's not even going to track. So it's a bit skinnier. It's a bit sharper at the end. Ooh, that one works better. That's a better target. So if you want to put a target face on it, don't use those. Use one of those. So I'm going to set my gear up. And I'm going to have shot and see how it feels, see how it performs, see if I need to change anything about how it's set up. I think that I'm probably going to have to move it right to the back of the shelf so that it doesn't rock, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to get set up and we're going to have shot and we're going to see how it feels. Okay, so not particularly shooting for accuracy today. This setup is more for exercise and just general stamina building. Obviously you can't practice your accuracy at 18 meters or 50 meters or 70 meters if your target is 2 meters away. So this is all about stamina building, and that's essentially why I've got the target. My goal is to be shooting in here at least every night that I can't. I'd like to say every night, but that's pretty impossible actually. When there's kids around, when you're in the middle of the week, it's difficult. So I'm going to try for maybe every second night. I'm going to put a few shots down, see how it feels, see how it responds. I'm shooting a Mybo Revolution 40 inch. It's currently set to about 40 pounds. I don't shoot very high poundage. I have thanks for that, Lucy. I don't have very strong arms. I don't have very strong joints. So it's comfortable for me, and I'm working my way up in poundage. But again, because I don't have that ability to shoot every night, shooting at a lower poundage is kind of where I've been stuck for a while. So I'm hoping that this is going to give me the ability to build that up to a high poundage. So this bow can go to 45 pounds. And if I want to go higher than that, I'll just get new limbs put on by the team at Mybo. I've got my RamRods Vectors. You probably can't see them, they're a bit far away. I want to do a post about them later on. Today I will be shooting my old school Easton Triumphs, the 23s. They have got boning Zen veins with a little bit of a helical, and I've got some Easton Genox, which I love. I love my Genox. I really like this colour. It's a really good colour. It glows so in the target, so I can see where my arrows have gone. So let's have a look. I'm so scared. I'm absolutely convinced that it's going to go straight through. I bought a target in Australia, a foam one, and it's just to use at my parents' house when I'm over there visiting, and the box said that it was rated for a 70-pound bow, like high feet per second, 70-pound bow, be fine. And the guy behind the counter says, and I said, you know, is this going to be okay for about 35 to 40 pounds? And he laughed at me. He actually laughed at me, and he said, it'll be fine, mate. It'll probably bounce off the outside. I was like, oh, okay. So I went home, went back to the house, and I got this target, and I shot it. And let me tell you, I wouldn't have wanted to shoot it with a 70-pound bow, but I'll tell you why in a second. See how this goes. Yeah. I'm gonna move my sight up a bit because that's my 18-meter sight mark. So I'll be able to get one for in here, and then I'll know what it is for every time I do it. It makes a really loud noise though. It's definitely stopping them, which is great. So this target I bought in Australia, I bought it at a fishing shop because where my parents live, there's no archery shops, and there's no archery shops within like a 10-hour drive of their house. I'm not even kidding. And I wasn't going to be there for very long, and I was looking at buying a target bag like this, and I'm like, that's so much money for something I'm just doing in the back shed as a bit of exercise while I'm in the country before I come back and use my own kit, right? So I bought this foam thing, and I'm like, are you actually kidding me? Like, it's so weak. So I was shooting my outdoor arrow. No, I was shooting, not sure what brand of arrows they were, but they've got like blazer vanes on them. And they were just something I'd bought. They're a full length carbon something or other. And they went straight through the foam. I had to put about 3 or 4 layers of folded up removalist boxes behind the foam. They went through the foam. They went through out the other side of the cardboard, and then I had to find like a couple of old foam bodyboards that were up in the top of the shed and put them in behind it before it would finally stop the arrow. So I basically built like a foam layered, you know, target in my parents' backyard. And I was shooting from about, I don't know, 15 meters away into the shed. So it was I was up on the driveway, it was down in the shed, it had all this stuff behind it and the shed wall behind it, and it was so weak. So, you know, being concerned about, you know, how the stopping power of some of these things I think is pretty genuine. One thing I would recommend with these kinds of targets, as you would know if you're shooting any kind of foam target indoors or outdoors, is that after a while of being consistently shot in the same place, they get really weak, and you've got to change out either the foam layers or the blocks if you've got damaged foam. So I think that for the purposes of this, if you're not actually shooting for a score, because you can't, because you're about 2 meters away from the target, I wouldn't be having like shooting at the same spot. Don't shoot at the same spot, just shoot, point the thing and shoot, and just see what happens, and move yourself around, otherwise you will weaken it in a particular place. So we'll go down and have a look and see how easy it is to pull them out, because that is, I think, stopping power and how easy it is to actually pull the arrow out at the end of the day is probably the two main functions of this target. Okay, so they haven't gone in super deep, which is really good, and I would expect that to be the case, being that they're brand new. It hasn't come through the other side, which is great. Again, I've moved anything that's important out from behind this. There's nothing important back there that it could possibly get to. So I'm pretty happy with the stopping power. Again, like as you can see, I've worked my way down the target to try and just spread out the impacts, I guess. Oh my god! I was really expecting a fight at the end, like, you know, sort of down here as it gets to the point. A friend of mine said pulling the arrows out was like butter, and she's not wrong. It absolutely is like I've just shot it into butter. It's really good. Wow. So I'd be interested to find out how it responds to skinnies. So my husband is shooting Victories at the moment, inside Victory Vaps, not the fat ones, because he shoots recurve. So I'd be interested to find out how it performs with skinnies, whether they're easier or harder to pull out. Overall, really happy with this. It was absolutely 100% a great purchase. It's going to mean that I can build some stamina at home. It's going to mean that I can build up my muscle strength, just generally keeping my form in check all the time. I wish I could buy one in Australia so I could get it to my parents' house, but I'll have to have a look around and see if there's a target of similar quality at a shop over there. I have to get it delivered. Shipping costs on that are going to be mental. So I'll wind up there. I definitely would recommend this as a product to anyone looking for a target bag. Again, shoot safely. Don't put it somewhere where there's anything behind it. If you're going to have it outside on a frame, make sure that you have a backdrop. Make sure that you have sufficient safety measures in place to be shooting. And shoot strong. Have a great day.